Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. In this segment, we are going to talk about another category of irregular verbs, and that category is ajwaf. So here is a picture that we've been seeing over and over. This is the different categories based on root words. We've already talked about mahmuz and mudaf. We've also talked about misal, which is where one of the harfe illats, waw or ya, shows up in the beginning. Today we will cover ajwaf, where the harfe illat, which is either waw or ya, shows up in the middle. And just to help you remember this, ajwaf comes from jawf, and jawf means sort of the hollow part or something in the middle. So from jawf comes ajwaf, and ajwaf means that your illat or your issue is somewhere in the middle. And obviously, since we are focusing on words with 3 root letters, the middle is the ain letter. Okay, so that's what we'll do today. Next class will be naqis, where the illat comes at the end. And then the most complicated variety, which is what we will conclude with, is lafif, where we have an illat in the beginning and an illat at the end. But today our focus is ajwaf. All right. So I'm not going to go over this, but here we have several words in the mujarrad form, or this is salati mujarrad, where we have an illat in the middle. So these are either ajwaf-e wawi, where we have a waw in the middle, or ya'i. And by looking at these, you will notice it's not easy to tell whether the second root letter or the ain letter, whether it's a waw or a ya. And with experience, you will be able to tell what the middle root letter is. But these are pretty common words: khafa, yakhafu, to fear; zada, yazidu, to increase. This also is in Urdu. Nama, yanamu, nauman, this is to sleep. So there are several common words that even translate into Urdu where we have a waw or a ya in the middle. Okay, and then here we have um, the ajwaf variety for family 2, family 3, 4, etc. Okay, so now let's get into the meat of this chapter. The second of the mu'attal, the first of the mu'attal was mithal, where we have a root, where we have a harf-e illat in as the fa letter. The second of the mu'attal is ajwaf. A word is considered ajwaf when the second root letter, which is the ain letter, is either a ya or a wa. When the second root letter is a waw, the word is further classified as ajwaf-e wawi. So ajwaf because it's in the middle, wawi because the middle letter is a waw. And when the second root letter is a ya, then the word is classified as ajwaf-e ya'i, ya'i for ya. Let us first explore the effect of ajwaf that occurs in mazid fi, and then we will look at mujarrad, salati mujarrad after that. So ajwaf in mazid fi. When it comes to mazid fi families, the vowel only causes change in these families: 4, 7, 8, and 10. And as part of this exercise in these classes, we also get to revise our babs, or as the Dream textbook refers to them, as families. So very briefly, if we look at these two families, aslama and istaghfara. So aslama is family 4, and this in our example was the akrama yukrimu family. So akrama yukrimu ikraman, and that is the babe if'al. And then istaghfara, this is actually family 10, and in our example this was istansara yastansiru istinsaran, or here it is istaghfara yastaghfiru istighfaran. So this is family 10. The rules that apply to family 4 and 10 are the same, and these are the rules. I'm going to say these rules and then we will look at specific examples. The vowel, which is the waw or the ya in the beginning, is replaced with an alif in the past tense. So in fail madhi, whether the middle root letter is a waw or a ya doesn't matter. In either case, these get replaced by an alif. So this is for fail madhi. The vowel is replaced with a ya in the present tense. So again, doesn't matter whether the middle letter is a waw or a ya. When we are dealing with fail mudare, then the middle letter becomes a ya. The mastar has a ta marbuta added to the end, and the vowel is omitted when the fail is majzoom, and if the regular fail ends in a zamma, and this generally happens with fail amar, which is the command, and nahi, which is a negative command. So let's look at examples of this now. We will start with family 4, which is Babe If'al, Akrama Yukrimu Ikraman. I have reproduced the 4 rules here, and we will look at how these rules apply to this word, arada. Now, this is ajwaf wawi, and right now I'm just telling you, what does it mean that this is ajwaf wawi? We are going to work with this together, and we will focus first on row number 1, which is fail mazi, fail mudare, and then this is the masdar for huwa muridun, and then muridun is the ismul fa'il. Okay, now I want you to work with me. I'm telling you this is ajwaf wawi. Based on what you see over here, then, Shahrukh, can you tell me what are the root letters here?
So it would be Re, Wow, Dal.
Excellent. So re, wow, dal. Okay,
Dal.
now, so Shahrukh, you will work the past tense, fail madi, and
Mhm.
then Dr. Ghani, you will work the fail mudare. Okay, now if we were just following our regular rules and we were creating the pattern for past tense, which is akrama, what would we write just using these 3 root letters?
Arvada. So,
So it would be ar, wa, da.
the
But what's rule number 1 here?
yeah, the wow gets replaced with an alif.
The waw gets replaced with an alif. So instead of this waw, we have alif. So this becomes arada. All right. So arada so that's where this arada is coming from. Okay. So rule number 1 applies. The waw gets replaced with an alif. So the past tense for sort of making an intention or wanting something is arada. Okay. Now, Dr. Ghani, what would this be in fail mudare if we were to just use these root letters and use the regular pattern for fail mudare?
Your widow.
Yeah, it would be yukrimu, and that would become yur
Yeah.
we do. But what's the rule?
We replace the wow with a ya.
Exactly. So if you replace the waw with a ya, now something, I hope you're also getting a feel for this, that if you replace the waw with the ya, and in the beginning you have the ya, so you replace the waw with a ya, and the dal has a dhamma. What is the most logical sort of harkat, zer, zabar, pesh, fatha, dhamma, kasra, that should precede the ya? It should be a kasra, right?
The kasra.
Yeah, the most smooth one is a kasra. Like, it would
Yeah.
not make sense to have a dhamma. That would cause a ew sound. Yuraidu also doesn't sound right. The smoothest one is yuridu. So these smoothening things we are not even mentioning in the rules, because then that becomes too many small rules to remember. But as long as you remember this rule, that with ajwaf, whether it's wawi or yai, the middle letter becomes a ya. And then your classic example here becomes arada yuridu. Okay. So arada yuridu iradatan. Iradatan means so to intend to do something. For hua, murid is the person who intends to do something. So this is your ajwaf wawi with family fo. And then what's happening over here? Urida.
We
This,
still haven't figured out whether it is a Wavi or Yavi.
yeah, this,
Right.
yeah, this now I'm just telling you. So you can't just look at this and figure it out. So you just need to know. So this is like from experience. So I'm just telling you, and the Arabs have decided that the root letters for this are Ra, Waw, and Dal. And that's the tricky thing with these illets. You can't just look at these. Like literally, there is no Waw, right? So there is no mention of a Waw, and
Arif,
yet
is the wow ever used is the wow ever used in any form? Like the root letter has
yeah,
a wow, right? Would in
the
any sort of tense, would we know that it's a wow
we
in any
we
sort
can't
of
just
combination?
we can't look at it and tell. We'll go through this whole, for all the ajwa wawis, we will see today, but it's not very common to actually have a vow. It does happen occasionally, but it's not very common.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, we just need to remember that for arada yuridu, the root letter, the middle root letter is a vow. And this is not logical. It's not something you can derive based on looking at this. It's just something that you know. And interestingly, as far as this top row is concerned,
And if
it doesn't really matter, right? And sometimes you will see a debate among the scholars whether the root letter is really a waw or a ya, because it's not following any specific rule. Another simple way of looking at it is it doesn't really matter, right? Whether it's a waw or a ya, these rules here are the same. Later on, for some of the other areas, it might matter, but here it doesn't. Okay, Dr. Saab, you were
And
saying
Arif Sahab,
something?
is this word? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Ghani first. If you have something, then back to Shahrukh.
no, I was just saying the same question that at no point do we will we actually know that it's a Wow or a Ya.
Yeah, yeah, it's not, it can't be scientifically proven. It's just,
Okay.
it's just the the founders of the language have told us. Shahrukh, Shahrukh, you had something? Okay, this,
Yeah, just quick question. The
yeah,
word irada,
yeah,
is this to want or to intend? Like in Urdu, we say irada, right? We intend to do something.
yeah. In
But
Urdu, it's
to want is something different, though.
in Urdu it is used from intention perspective. In Arabic, it is family. For in Arabic, yeah, it's used in a to want perspective. Uridu an or uridu in Arabic would be I want to do something. In Urdu, it's used from like
Want.
in Urdu, it's used to intend to do something. It's related, I guess, but the
Yeah,
classic,
but it's not like exactly the
it's
same.
not exact, and that happens often. The Urdu word and the Arabic word, even though they look the same, but
Right.
sometimes the meaning is not exactly the same. Okay. The other thing I want to mention is this last row, which is the fail amar, the command, the nahi, negative command, and uh, the zarf. So the vowel is omitted. So with the commands amar and nahi, the vowel is omitted. So you put remember with babe ifal, the command, that's the only command where you have a hamza with a fatha. So you can just remember that. The only time we have a fatha in up front on the hamza is with babe ifal. In all other cases, you either have a hamza like unsur, or you have a zair like idrib. You never have a fatha. The only time you have a fatha is with babe ifal. And what we are learning here is that with the command and the negative command, nahi, the middle letter is just dropped. So arid is a command and la turid is a negative command. And the rule for the negative command, I hope you remember, with something like this, we just remove the uh, so anyway, so the rules for the negative command we can go back and revise, but the central point being made here is that the middle letter is being dropped, and as before we have majzoom. Okay, then family 10. Do you remember which family this is?
Astansara, Yastansiru,
Yeah, Istansara,
Istansar.
Yastansiru, Istinsaran. So now I'm again telling you that this is ajwaf wawi. You would not just know, but once I've told you that this is ajwaf wawi, what are the, so Dr. Saab, now you tell us, what are the root letters here? We have waw in the middle. What do we have first? What's the fa letter?
Ghain,
Very
Wow,
good.
Sa,
Yeah, ghain, waw, and
Ain,
yeah, and sa, right?
Sa.
So what would this past tense, what would this look like? What would the past tense form look like if we did not have any illats, any issues? So this would be istansara.
Istaghawsa
Istaghwasa.
or
Yeah, exactly.
Istaghwasa, yeah.
Exactly.
Istaghwasa.
Istaghwatha. And then what rule applies? The first one. So what do we do now?
The alif replaces
The wow gets replaced. So why,
wow.
we do a, find replace effectively. So instead of the wow, we get an alif. Istaghasa. So this word, by the way, means to ask for help. In general, these form 10 verbs mean to ask for something. So istaghatha means to ask for help. So this is roughly similar to istansara. So istaghatha, then yastaghithu. Why do we have a ya over here? That's based on rule number 2, that in the mudare, the vowel is replaced by a ya. So that's what's happening here. And we have ta marbuta at the end. So you take this thing, istighathatan fahuwa mustaghithu. So this is a rule we've seen before, that to create the file, you put a meme dhamma instead of the mudare indicator. And then the middle letter. Actually, here it would become the, the ghain gets a kasra, mustaghithun. Okay, so we are going to focus on this because there are so many rules, and as long as you remember, like the two most important rules that we are learning right now are that with past tense, simple past tense, the middle letter or the illat letter is replaced by alif, and in fail mudare, the illat or the ain letter is being replaced by a ya. And then this, do you remember what we are looking at here? So this second row, this is
Majhul.
Right, that's
mazi
the passive.
majhul, yeah, passive.
Majhul.
Mazi majhul, mudare majhul, then this is the masdar. And then what's this? Mustaghathun.
The passive, the one to whom the participle, yeah.
Yeah, what's the Arabic term for this? So if this is ism fa'il, what is this? Ism maf'ul, right? Mustaghithun is the fa'il, the person who is asking or doing this action, and mustaghathu is the object or the maf'ul. And then what's this row? This is what we are looking at here, is sarf saghir. So in sarf saghir, we just take the first sigha or the first word from every girdan or every conjugation. All right. So I'm just also hammering in the basic format of a sarf saghir. The first row gives you the madhi, mudare, masdar, and then fa'il. The second row gives you the mazi majhul, mudare majhul, masdar, which will
Maf'ul.
be the same, and then the maf'ul. And then what does this third row give us?
Maf'ul. Ism maf'ul.
What's this third row?
Amar.
Yeah, this is
Amar.
the
Yeah.
amar, and the
This is
second
the
one,
Amar and
command.
the negative command.
negative command.
Negative
Negative.
command. The
Yeah, notice that in these cases the
third one is
ajwaf is dropped, the sort of the middle ayn letter is dropped, and then this is the zarf, which in this case is the same as the maf'ul. So what are the two key rules then? Or actually three key rules. For the past tense, alif. For the present,
yeah, the
mudare, ya.
mhm.
And then for the command, the middle letter or the illat letter is dropped. Okay, then we go to the next category, iqtaraba and inqalaba. So just as a quick revision, iqtaraba is which bab? And what's the example that we studied?
Iftala.
Ta'al.
No.
Ta'al.
Remember, there's just one ta after the fa.
I know for inqalaba we had infatara. Iqtaraba. Yeah.
Dr. Ghani, you remember? Iqtaraba.
No, I can't remember.
Ijtanaba
For
yajtanibu
inqalaba, I
ijtinab.
remember it's infatara.
Ijtanaba,
Ijtanaba.
yeah.
Ijtanaba.
Yes.
Ijtanaba yajtanibu ijtinaban.
Yeah.
Okay, so what bab is that?
Mhm.
Ijtanaba yajtanibu ijtinaban. That is babe iftial.
Iftialan.
Yeah, babe iftial. So babe iftial, that's family 8. So our example was ijtanaba yajtanibu ijtinaban, and this dream textbook example is iqtaraba yaqtaribu iqtiraban. Okay, so family 8. I'm telling you that this is ajwaf ya'i. Okay, now here the rules are different.
Mhm.
The vowel is replaced with alif in both the past and the present tense. Okay, so what are the root letters here? If I'm telling you that this is ajwaf ya'i, so the root letters are kha,
Khe, ye, re.
exactly, kha, and then
Ye,
ya,
ra.
and then
Yeah.
ra. So with the
Ra.
regular form, if we were to just use iqtaraba or ijtanaba, what would this become?
Ikhtayara.
Tayara.
Tayara.
Ikhtayara. So ikhtayara doesn't sound very smooth. So the ya gets replaced by an alif. So this becomes ikhtara. And then the past tense also, so that's the past tense. The mudare becomes yakhtaru. So ijtanaba yajtanibu. So instead of yajtayiru, it becomes yakhtaru. So the ya gets replaced by an alif. And then ikhtiyaran, again we have alif there. Fahuwa mukhtarun. So this verb means to choose, and there's something similar in Urdu, like when we say mera ikhtiyar, that means my choice. So ikhtara yakhtaru ikhtiyaran means to choose. And then this is the command. The vowel is so same with the command, the same thing happens. Notice that the ya, the middle letter, the illat letter is dropped. So ikhtar, la takhtar, and mukhtar is the zarf. So the zarf and the maf'ul are the same. In fact, here the fa'il, maf'ul, and
File,
zarf
maf'ul, they're all the same.
are all the same. So from context, we would have to figure this out. But the most important rule to remember here is that with babe iftial, the middle letter, be it a waw or a ya, gets replaced by alif. So, and how do you know this is an alif and not a hamza?
It's got no sign, no Arab on it.
No, yeah, no
So
harkat on it, no zammak. So it's
no
simply
harkat
saying,
on it. Sorry.
yeah, no harkat on
Yeah.
it. So if there's no harkat, then it's an alif. Okay, then
Arif
what's,
sir,
yeah, yeah.
did we talk about this third rule which says vowel is omitted when fail is majzoom?
When fail is majzoom. So that's actually the vowel is omitted. No, we did not. We talked about it for
Okay.
the. We talked about this for the. So majzoom means that. Do you remember what this means? What does it mean when the fail is majzoom?
Well, it's rafa nasab jar form in for verb.
No,
No, no,
majzoom.
Jazam. So this is just when it's like followed by, well,
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
preceded by like a lam ya la, one of
yeah.
those.
But let's take a step back. So a quick refresher. So when we have lam, yan, do we say lam yan sur, lam yan suru, or lam
Yeah.
yan surah?
Lam
Yansur.
yansur.
So this means that the fail
Okay.
is majzoom. So this
Majzoom.
is a jazm.
Mhm,
The
mhm.
other
Okay.
place where we have a jazm is with the command. So how would I make a command out of yansuru? So how would
Unsur.
Unsur. Unsur.
unsur exactly? So in the command form, we ha- we make a command. If you just have salati mujarrad, then it would become un sur. So in the command, the fail becomes majzoom, which means that the last letter has a jazm.
Mhm.
All
Right.
right. So that's the point being made here. The vowel is omitted when the fail is majzoom, and this happens in nahi and in amr. So in the command, the fail is majzoom. So the point being made here is that if the fail is majzoom, which happens with the command and negative command, then we drop the middle letter altogether.
Okay.
So that's the
Got
point
it.
here. So ikhtar la takhtar. So that's a good point. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Inqalaba. So I think Shahrukh, you remember this. What is the what is our example?
In fatara.
Infatara yanfatiru infitaran or infitar.
Itar.
So the bab is infial. Okay, the rules are the same, but interestingly, here the majhul or the passive form is not given. Do you remember
Yeah,
why?
because this verb itself
Transitive.
is passive. It's
Exactly.
transitive. In fact, yeah.
This is a fe'le lazim, which means that in English we would say that this is intransitive, which means that this is with this form we only have verbs where there is no concept of an object. This is one of those verbs uh, where there is no object, and if there's no object, then the concept of a majhul doesn't exist. So this word in hara, what are the rules here? Again, alif in both madhi and mudari. So we see that here, madhi and see mudari. And then for amar and nahi, where the fail is majzoom, we have the middle letter that is skipped altogether. All right. So this is family 7. So to your point, Shahrukh, notice that the wow generally doesn't show up. So even for ajwaf wawi or yai, here we have wawi. So the root letter theoretically is ha,
Wara.
wow, and ra, but the wow doesn't show up. And that's probably because a wow in the middle just won't be very smooth. So in the middle, we typically have either an alif or a ya.
So
Okay.
if we need to look this up in the dictionary, we have to look up both the wow and the ya cases.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and
If you're not familiar with it.
that's true. And fortunately, I was doing this yesterday as I was preparing. Fortunately, both waw and ya come towards the end. Right.
Right.
So,
Oh, they'll be
so
close.
that
Yeah.
was very convenient. So I would just quickly look for a wow. If the wow was not there, just a couple of pages down, I could see, okay, the ya is there. But that's a very good point. In the dictionary, you would look. But now with the app, if you've downloaded the app will also just tell you. Okay.
Which app is that?
This is the Quran. So at the end of this class, I'll share with you the name of the app. So that app, basically, you just click on the word, and it will tell you everything. It will tell you what the root is. It will tell you what the verb form is, what the past tense, present tense, command, the file, and the maful. So, and all you need to do is
Nice.
click on that. So Dr. Ghani, I think I started
Is that
using it.
Quran Hive or
No, this is
is that?
Al-Quran. I'll send you the exact name of the app.
Okay.
The thing I found with the app is that if you're just looking up a word, I don't know how to do that, but you need to have the Quranic reference
Yeah,
and
is
you
there
have to
like
go from
an
there.
app where you have like a dictionary for Arabic, where you just type in the 3 root letter words and you get like everything?
I haven't found something like that
That
yet.
does exist on there's the Quran corpus which is on the website. It has a
Yeah,
website,
yeah,
but
that
I'm
I
not
know.
sure they have an app.
Okay. Yeah, Quran Corpus, I know. I use that too, but I haven't found
Okay.
an app yet. So.
Okay. So now we move to Salati Mujarrad. So we will explore the changes that occur in the Sarfe Saghir of the Mujarrad Ajwaf clans. So Sarfe Saghir is where we just look at the first, so the first item in the conjugation is always singular, masculine, third person. So
Third person.
we will look at Sarfe Saghir, and then we will look at Sarfe Kabir, which is the full conjugation. The changes that occur with Sarfe Saghir can be split into two categories. Changes that are consistent across clans here being Daraba, Nasara, etc. And then, so there are some changes that are consistent, happen across all the different babs, and then there are changes that are specific to individual babs. So here, we will look at the changes which are consistent across all babs, and obviously this takes time to register, but the purpose of this section is we get a sense for the sorts of rules out there, and then we will apply some of these rules, and then with practice we will remember them, inshallah. So in the past tense, fail madi will always be in this form fala. In other words, the middle letter, which is a waw or a ya, just gets replaced by alif, and that should sound familiar. That happened with a couple of the babs that we just looked at. So past tense, just put in an
Nama.
alif. Then mazi majhul and mudare majhul will always follow the pattern. So this is mazi majhul, fila, like you might remember in the Quran where it says qila. Qila means it was said. So that is in the form fila. So the middle letter becomes a ya in mazi majhul, and in mudare majhul it becomes yu fa lu. So with mudare majhul, the middle letter, the illat letter, gets replaced by alif. Ism fa'il is always in this form fa'ilun. So the middle letter gets replaced by a hamza with a kasra. Ism maf'ul becomes mafilun if we have ajwaf yai, and mafulun if we have ajwaf yai. So this is one of the few cases where we actually unfortunately need to know whether this is a ajwaf yai or a y or a wawi, and with experience we will learn that, for example, qala, this is ajwaf wawi with a waw in the middle. So zarf has these three forms that we've seen before, and ala, ismul ala, has these forms. But these are less important compared to the first three. Okay, then these are the rules specific to the babs, and the only three babs where we have ajwaf are nasara, daraba, and samia. The other babs don't have a ajwaf situation. So with the other babs, we never have a waw or a ya in the middle. Now with nasara, the past tense becomes fala and the present tense becomes yafulu. And with daraba, fala yafilu, and samia, fala yafalu. So you might be wondering, how do you remember this? What's the mudare for nasara?
Yansuru.
Yansuru. So that has a dhamma. So you see a yafulu.
Wow.
With daraba, what's the mudare?
Yadribu.
Yadribu. So you have a kasra and a ya. So up here with nasara, you have a dhamma and a waw, which are friends. With daraba yadribu, you have a kasra and a ya. And with samia, what's the present tense?
Yes. Yes.
Yasma'u.
Yasma'u. So here you have a fatha and a alif. So a lot of rules, but if you just remember that simple larger point that the Arabs want to make it sound smooth, then hopefully these will be easier to remember. All right. The other clans, what are the other clans or the other babs? Do you remember?
Yeah, Bab.
Fataha?
Daraba.
No,
Actually,
daraba
Bab
is covered.
Fataha. Bab Dar. Okay, so Bab Fataha. You have Bab Hasiba.
Exactly.
And
So Fataha,
Darama.
Hasiba.
Yeah.
So Hasiba and
Karuma.
Karuma. So these
Karuma.
three babs do not have any ajwaf situation. So with these three babs, we never have a middle letter, which is a ya or a wow. Okay, and then the last point before we get into examples, if the word is from the Nasara family, then the command will be full. Again, Nasara Yansuru, the Dhamma is over here, the middle letter goes. So this is aligned with the sorts of things we've seen before, where with the command you have the fail in majzoom form, which means you have this jazm or sukoon at the end, the middle letter just goes. How do you figure out whether the fa will have a dhamma, kasra, or a fatha? It's basically for nasara, it's a dhamma. For daraba yadribu, it would be a kasra. And samia yasma'u, it would be a fatha. So it all builds on material we've seen earlier. Okay, now, so we look at some very common words. So one of the most common words in the Quran is qala or qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. So qul keeps coming up, and this will follow the rules that we just talked about. But let's look at row 1, which is fail madhi, mudare, masdar, fahuwa, fa'il. Okay, so qala. Where did this come from? The past tense is always in the form fala. So this is ajwaf wawi, which means that the root letters are qaf, waw, lam. With the past tense, the middle letter doesn't matter. So you have qala. Then yaqulu. So what do we say about the so if the word is in the nasara family, which is, this is in the nasara family, so the past present becomes fala yafulu. So yaqulu is what we have here for mudare, and then the ismul fa'il is qawlan. No, this is the masdar. Masdar is qawlan, and for huwa qa'ilun. So what's qa'ilun? That is the
fa'il.
Person who speaks.
The person who speaks. So you often hear this وَقَالَ قَائِلٌ or قَالَ so قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِنْهُمْ. So said, the speaker, the person who speaks. Okay, and then this is majhul, qila, yuqalu, and then this is the command qul and la taqul. So notice with qul and la taqul, the waw, which is the middle letter, is missing. All right. Next is nala yanalu. I don't know, just to help you remember this, this means to reach or to attain. There is a famous ayat, lan tanalul birra hatta tunfiqu mimma tuhibbun, that you will not reach or you will not attain piety until you spend that of which you love. So lan tanal al birra, that's tanala because it is second person. In third person it would be yanalu. So nala yanalu basically means to reach or to attain. This is ajwaf yai. So we have a ya in the middle. The past tense is in the form fala, and the mudare is in the form yafalu. So this becomes yanalu, and fahuwa na'ilun, this is common. So this is ismul file is standard, but since this is the Samia clan, Samia yasma'u, so that's why we have an alif over here. The previous one was in the Nasara Yansuru clan, that's why we have yaqulu. All right, but here we have yanalu because this is Samia yasma'u, which is, we can call this title the zabar in the middle, yasma'u. Zabar in the middle means you have the zabar, fatha followed by alif. As far as the commands are concerned, it's simply null and la tanal. The ya in the middle is dropped. Okay, and then ba'a. Ba'a yabi'u means to sell. Like buy, buy means to sell or sale. So ba'a yabi'u, this is in the daraba, bab daraba. So what's the mudare for daraba? Yadribu.
Yadribu.
So that's why, so in the fail mudare we have yabi'u. So ba'a yabi'u ba'i'an. Fahuwa ba'i'un. So ba'i'un is the seller. And B, then again notice this is ajwaf yai, which means ya in the middle, that's dropped. La tabi, do not sell. Okay, so we've applied.
Arif, I just had a question.
Yeah.
In the previous slide, where we're saying it's from Bab Samia, I was just wondering, why do we call it Samia and not Bab Fataha? Because it's not clear whether in the Mazi you have a kasra in the Ain letter.
In what? Are you talking about Nala Yanalu?
Yes, or all similar words. How do we know like it's Samia as opposed to Fataha?
From here, actually, the word, like this is told to us by the founders of the language, that the word Nala falls in Bab. So Arabs have decided that Nala Yanalu is Bab Samia.
Okay.
It's not, as in you can't just look at something, like sometimes with the root letters, Noon, Ya and Lam, sometimes with these root letters you have a word in multiple babs, and you'll see this as you get deeper into the language. So sometimes with the same root letters you will see in the dictionary that if this is in Bab Daraba, then the meaning is this. If this is Bab Nasara, then the meaning is something else. So here we are saying that, okay, Nala Yanalu Bab Samia, this means to attain or to reach.
Okay, it's not evident, but that's how they claiming it.
That's how they are categorized. Nala Yanalu, they're saying this belongs to the Samia family.
Okay.
This is not something we've studied, but every family has some general characteristics. And then words that fall in those characteristics then are basically lumped together in a given family or in a given bab. All right. It's slightly tricky because even within a given bab, while there are some similar characteristics, but every word is not the same, right? The way our teachers explained it to us, that just like in a given family, you can see, okay, these people belong to a given family, so they are somewhat similar, but then there can also be differences among people in a given family. So
Right.
same thing with words. All right. So that actually covers all the sarfe saghir. And obviously there is more, but I've covered the most important rules. Now we look at sarfe kabir, which is the full conjugation. The changes that occur in sarfe kabir are clan dependent or bab dependent. In fail madhi, the vowel is dropped hunna onwards and replaced by a harka, so by a fatha, kasra, or dhamma. So let's look at fail madhi first. On the next slide, we'll look at mudare. The other point is that with madhi, uh, the madhi can only take a zamma or a kasra. If it is from nasara family, it takes zamma, otherwise it takes kasra. So what does this mean? So let's take samya. So Samia obviously is not Nasara family, it's another family. So the first rule is the vowel is dropped hunna onwards. So what does that mean? So nala, nalu, nalat, nalata. So these are standard. But then the the vowel, which is so the vowel is dropped. So if you notice, the alif is the vowel in this case. So the vowel in these has been replaced by an alif. That alif is also dropped from hunna onwards. Why is this called hunna? Any idea? Nilna?
So female.
Yeah, this is
Female.
a hunna. Hunna represents third person female plural. So this is third person female, and here we have plural. So everything beyond this, notice that there is no, like the alif is totally dropped. There's no alif. So nilna, nilta, niltuma, niltum, etc. So this is dropped. And the same thing is happening over here with ba'a, ba'a. So we have the alif, the alif, the alif. But then from here onwards, the alif is dropped. With nasara, the family will take a zamma. So notice from here onwards we have a zamma. Qulna, qulta, qultuma. So with nasara we take a zamma from here onwards, whereas with daraba and samia we have a kasra. So these are the changes that happen in sarfe kabir for madhi. And honestly, I don't expect you to remember all this. Even I don't remember this. But the point of doing all this is to recognize that these rules exist. And then when we start following these rules and we start seeing it in the Quran. So now, for example, when we see qala, qala, qalata, qultuma, now at least it will ring a bell and we can then come back to these tables and these rules and recognize where this is coming from. Because just looking at this table, I'm sure you've seen all these words. You've seen qala, qala,
Yes.
qalu, qalat, qalata, qulna, they said, qulta, he said, qulti, she said, so qultum. Now it makes sense to you to some extent, I guess, why just it's qul and not qul or
Qawl
something else.
or yeah.
Right. And you can also see why we are doing illats right at the end, because these few illats, they have like a whole explosive set of rules. Okay, what about madare? The vowel is dropped in the hunna and antunna. So hunna is third person female plural. What's antunna?
second person.
You all female.
Yeah, so this is second person, female, plural.
Mhm.
So these are replaced by haraka. So what haraka? So if a waw was omitted, so for example, yaqulu replaced by zamma, alif would be replaced by fatha, and ya would be replaced by kasra. So the changes are only happening over here. So in this case, the waw is omitted and it's replaced by zamma. With samia, we have fatha, and with daraba yadribu, we have a kasra. All right. So that's it in terms of what I plan to cover. Again, a lot to digest. And here I just say, for homework, you can go through this, but more importantly, all these words show up a lot in the Quran. The sorts of words that we've discussed today, they often show up, and now you can just try and pay attention to them and try and correlate the words that you see back to the rules that we have in this presentation. All right. So that's it.
And even over,
Let me know if you have any
I was
questions.
just wondering, even over here, we don't know if it's a wawi or yai.
Yeah, and I think this is something that exactly just by with the illets, just by looking at it, you can't tell. So
Yeah.
so that's why, to be honest, as I was preparing this, every word like qala, I went to the dictionary, I looked at qaf, waw lam, and qaf ya lam, and then once I realized, like, then I would actually put it up here that with nala, I would then say, okay, according to the dictionary, there's a ya in the middle, so it's ajwaf yai. So then I just have to learn that nala yanalu is a ya in the middle, because there is no way of telling that just by looking at the word.
Hmm.
So you just learn it.